Hello and welcome to Star Academy. Dear learners, in this video lesson, you are going to learn about a tragic hero, characteristics of a tragic hero, examples of tragic hero, and importance of tragic hero in a tragedy. But before defining a tragic hero, let me tell you something about the background of a tragic hero. A tragic hero is a type of character in a tragedy. Tragic heroes typically have heroic traits that earn them the sympathy of the audience, but also have flaws or make mistakes that ultimately lead to their own downfall. For example, in Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, Romeo is a tragic hero, but his reckless passion in love makes him a compelling character, also leads directly to the tragedy of his death. The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle was the first to define a tragic hero. The idea of the tragic hero was introduced by Aristotle based on his study of Greek drama. Aristotle believed that a good tragedy must evoke feeling of fear and pity in the audience, since he saw these two emotions as being fundamental to the experience of catharsis. Now, let us define a tragic hero. A tragic hero is a character, typically a protagonist, who possesses noble qualities but suffers a downfall due to a tragic flaw, error in judgment, or external forces. It means that a tragic hero is the central character of a tragedy, and a tragic hero possesses noble qualities. He is a good man, but he suffers a downfall, and the reason for his downfall is a tragic flaw in his character, errors in making judgments, and there are some external forces. These lead to the downfall of a tragic hero. The five key characteristics of a tragic hero are noble birth or high status, tragic flaw, reversal of fortune, self realization, and catharsis. Now, let us discuss these characteristics one by one in detail. Noble birth or high status. The hero often comes from a privileged background or hold a high social position. This means that the tragic hero should be a noble person. It also means that the tragic hero should be capable and powerful, and also feel responsible to the rules of honor and morality. These traits make the hero attractive and compelling and gain the audience sympathy. They wouldn't be perfect, but tragic heroes are typically well intentioned people with a solid moral compass. Their motivations should be relatable, even if they are sometimes misguided. Their virtues are clear enough that the readers or audience is on their side and experiences sympathy for the hero when things start to unravel. Indeed, the audience has to root for them for a tragedy to work. If they dislike them, their unhappy ending wouldn't be well tragic. The second key characteristic of a tragic hero is tragic flaw or hamartia. The hero has a significant character flaw or makes a critical mistake that leads to his downfall. While being heroic, the character must also have a tragic flaw, or more generally, be subject to human error, and the flaw must lead to the character's downfall. On the one hand, these flaws make the character relatable, someone with whom the audience can identify. Just as important, the tragic flaw makes the tragedy more powerful because it means that the source of the tragedy is internal to the character. In the most successful tragedies, the tragic hero's flaw is not just a characteristic they have in addition to their heroic qualities, but one that emerges from their heroic qualities. For example, a righteous quest for justice or truth that leads to terrible conclusion. The most common tragic flaw for a tragic hero to have is hubris or excessive pride and self-confidence. There are a variety of possibilities for what that flaw might be, but this is an essential non-negotiable element of being a true tragic hero. Aristotle referred this tragic flaw as Hamartia. The third characteristic of a tragic hero is reversal of fortune or peripeteia. The hero experiences a sudden change in circumstances, often from good to bad. The character should suffer a terrible reversal of fortune from good to bad. Such a reversal does not merely mean a loss of money or status. It means that the work should end with the character's death or an immense suffering. All tragic heroes must have a peripeteia, a sudden reversal of the hero's good fortune. These bad things don't usually just happen to them at random. There should be a connection between their own innate failing and the misfortunes they suffer. The fourth characteristic of a tragic hero is self realization, or referred to as anagnorisis. The hero recognizes his tragic flaw and the consequences of his actions. The tragic hero recognizes the error of his ways, usually after he has hit rock bottom as a consequence of them. This moment of recognition is a hallmark of the tragic hero's character arc, referred by Aristotle as anagnorisis. Unfortunately, this self awareness usually comes a little too late. The fifth characteristic of a tragic hero is catharsis. The audience experiences a purging of emotions, usually pity and fear, as they witness the hero's suffering. The tragic hero must have the sympathy of the audience. Catharsis is the process of releasing strong or pent up emotions through art. Aristotle coined the term catharsis. Aristotle believed that an audience's ability to feel the same emotions as those displayed by actors on stage is an integral part of the experience of watching theater, and that through this experience, audience can learn to better regulate their emotions in real life. Now let us discuss some examples of tragic hero with reference to these characteristics discussed in the video. First one is the example of tragic hero Prince Hamlet in William Shakespeare's tragedy Hamlet. The first key characteristic of a tragic hero is noble birth and high status. Hamlet is a prince. He was born into royalty, so he fulfills the requirement of noble birth for a tragic hero. As discussed earlier, tragic flaw is also a key characteristic of a tragic hero. In Hamlet's personality, we see he struggles with taking decisive action. This indecisiveness and overthinking lead to his downfall. The third characteristic, that is reversal of fortune. Hamlet was a prince. He begins as the Prince of Denmark with the expectation of inheriting the throne. However, His world turns upside down due to the murder of his father, King Hamlet, and the subsequent events that unfold. Here we can see the reversal of fortune for Hamlet. Catharsis. The audience experiences catharsis as they feel pity and fear for Hamlet's plight. His internal conflict and external circumstances evoke empathy, making his tragic journey emotionally compelling. Dear learners, let us now discuss these characteristics with reference to another tragic hero of William Shakespeare, Macbeth. A tragic hero of William Shakespeare tragedy, Macbeth, is a Scottish general. The unchecked ambition and willingness of Macbeth to resort to violence is a tragic flaw. Macbeth rises to power but descends into tyranny and madness. Here is the reversal of fortune for Macbeth. Macbeth, like all other tragic heroes, realizes the consequences of his action, leading to his tragic end. When the audience come to know about tragic fall of Macbeth, they feel pity and fear for Macbeth.